Oh, wait.
That's when like all the internet breaks and like
Woo!
like what's
Ain't
funny
it,
is
baby?
I think this is like my like 30th or 40th live, and I still have zero faith that I won't magically the internet won't like break out and like
Not work.
yeah, right. Um, but dude, I'm super psyched to like to finally like have you, like you mentioned, like go full circle. Like I remember we were, it was like one of your first coaching calls. You were at the gym, you're doing like wired bench over like pull back rows or something like that. And you had like the call, like the phone was like right there. And I was like, what the fuck is this guy doing? Like, is he at the gym on the coaching call?
What was I doing is a real question. What was
I
I
don't
doing? I don't
like
know.
you're doing like Ravi videos, right? Remember those and stuff like that?
Yes, back in the
Um,
day.
and like ever since then, you've been like you've taken every step correctly, and you've been notching up, and you've been doing like that dream approach, like that curve, which is like so effing cool.
Well, I appreciate you saying that. I don't know if I did every step correct. I'll tell you that. I definitely a lot of missteps where I think people are so afraid of. I've made an incredible amount of mistakes, but you learn from them. And if you're not making mistakes, you're definitely not trying hard enough.
I
Like
think
that's for damn sure.
that's like one of the biggest lessons that I've learning as I'm going to like my junior years. Like if you're not making mistakes, you're probably not trying hard enough. Number one, number two, you're gonna make a mistake no matter what. So just get used to failing, right? And just fail in a way that way you don't make that same mistake again, and you're gonna come out winning, right?
People are so afraid, like for some reason, just so absolutely terrified that like they're not going to deliver results for the clients, which happens all the time. Even at our agency, we don't deliver results all the time. They're not happy. Like no one has it perfect. Like if someone tries to tell you that they have a perfect agency and they always deliver results and they never have any complaints, like they're just straight up lying to you.
Yes.
So you have to realize, and I actually got it from Grant Cardone too, like if you have customer complaints, it's actually a good thing because that means that you have customers.
Oh, see, his internet just cut out. No, your internet just cut out. Start from like.
I said that what Grant Cardone said that I absolutely loved was, and this really shifted my mindset early on in the game, and I guess we're just diving right into it. But he said at the 10X conference, he said, you should be happy if you're getting customer complaints because that means that you have customers to complain, right? Yeah. And so that's when I realized, like, obviously it's feedback and it's going to happen no matter what. But yeah, could I be like, try to keep myself protected and only take on like one client who's my best friend and like only charge him $500 a month and then he'll never complain. But in reality, it's like we get complaints all the time. Like obviously we deliver results or we wouldn't be where we are, but like people complain, people bitch, like we have problems, stuff breaks down. And I love failure now. Like if I'm failing, I'm like, oh, something great is about to happen right after this.
Like Ferrari still has customer complaints. Equinox still has customer complaints. Everyone bitches about their like $2,000 MacBook Pro isn't working, but guess what? You just paid $2,000 for your MacBook Pro. You bought a Ferrari and you belong to Equinox. So like somebody's winning there, right?
It's it's a good problem to have. You have to up your problems. Like that's what I was on a podcast yesterday and we were talking about. It was like if you're having the same problems over and over again, then you're not leveling up. So like at new levels, you have new problems. You should seek new problems. Like our newest problem is like, how do we manage 111 clients right now? Like, how are we supposed to do that? Like we're trying to figure that out as we're moving forward. And it's super stressful, incredibly stressful, but it's like, that's a great problem to have because we have 111 clients. So, you just have to level your shit up. If you're just doing the same problem for 6 months or a year, you're not growing. You're not changing your shit.
So let's flash back to way back in the day because I didn't know this until you filled out the form. You took the LSAT. Like you wanted to go to law school, right? Like,
yeah.
What the hell? Like you went from like almost trying to be a lawyer to running a $1.2 million a year agency. Like, so what was it like way back in the day? Like, how did you get started with all this? Because I've known you for less than a year. That's when you joined the Inner Circle, but I wasn't the first course you bought into, right? Like LSAT, Ty Lopez, like what was it like back then?
Yeah. Awesome. So essentially when I started like elementary school, high school, college, like all of that, I was going to be a lawyer. Like number one plan was to be a lawyer. Wanted to go to one of the top law schools in the nation. And so everything I did was geared around being a lawyer. Every class I took, all my grades, like every action I did in life. I interned for the governor of Florida, Rick Scott, for 2 years. Like that was what I wanted to do. Now, granted, never worked a day in a law firm my whole life, but I'd watched almost every episode of Law and Order and Suits. And so like I thought that was what it was like. And so luckily at the time, my dad's neighbor in Atlanta, he was literally a consultant that got overseas students like India, Japan, China in some of the top law schools in the nation, like top 5 law schools in the nation. And so I was able, when people pay him 6 figures, we used to have just dinner and we talk about it overnight. And he's like, look, you need to graduate college, you need to take a year off and study for the LSAT. And so that's what I did. I was like, okay, I'll take a year off, study for the LSAT, score in the top percentile, and then you can go to Harvard, Yale, and then your life will be set. Yeah. Right. And so graduated college and I was moving back home in Florida. 3 days after I graduated college, get a call from my dad. He's diagnosed with stage 3 lung cancer. And he has nobody to take care of him. And he's in Atlanta, Georgia. So like literally unpacked my car from college at my home and had to repack it up, drive up to Atlanta, and spent the next year waking up at 4 a.m., not meditation, but self-development and working out until 5. Then 5 to 8, I would do LSAT prep. And then 8 to 6, I would be in the chemo and radiation with my dad in the hospital, which was the most humbling experience of my entire life. And then get home 7 o'clock, 7 to 11, I would do more LSAT prep. So no joke, did that for a year. And near the end of it, I just realized like I didn't really want to be a lawyer. And I don't know if it was because I was relating it to the cancer or what it was, but it stopped being appealing to me. And essentially my dad saw that and he was like, started taking me to dinners with all these high-powered lawyers, some of the top lawyers in Atlanta.
Trying to save you.
Exactly. And the ironic part, Jeff, is that these lawyers would be like, we'd sit down at dinner, we'd be talking, and I'd tell them my story, and they'd be like, yeah, don't go to law school. They would just straight up be like, do not go to law school. And my dad, you see the look on my dad's face. He's like, because ironically, the 2 guys that were pushing me most in life to be a lawyer, neither of them were lawyers. Like the consultant and my dad, neither of them were lawyers. And so I made a decision. I read a book, The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck. And I made the decision, like, I'm so worried about what my family and society thinks of me, because I was having a real inner battle. And I'm sure your inner circle and the people watching this can relate to this, like what society expected of me and what I had told everybody for the past 18 years, what I was going to do and what I wanted to do in my head were completely opposite. And I was so afraid of what everyone would think of me if I did it. And I eventually was like, you know what? I already studied. So I took the LSAT, scored in the top 10 percentile. I could have had my pick of like number 3 through number 10 schools in the nation if I wanted to, but decided, like, came downstairs one day and just told my dad, like, I'm not going to be a lawyer. And that caused some rift, obviously, between us and like my dad's side of the family. I Googled how to make money online. I got a job at an Italian restaurant. I was making $2,000 a month at this Italian restaurant, which you got to keep in mind. I was about to go to a school where I was going to make like, $250,000 coming out a year. And I'm working at an Italian restaurant as a waiter. So both for myself and my family, like, they were almost embarrassed of me and I was almost embarrassed of myself. But Googled how to make money online, got retargeted like a motherfucker by Ty Lopez. Ended up getting his course, SMMA, got some clients. And then as you and I were talking about just before we launched this, Ty Lopez opened my mind as to what was possible because I got some clients. And I was like, oh, people are going to pay me for this. But I knew there was a next step that I needed. And what I didn't have in Ty Lopez's course, which I absolutely, every single time people ask me about your course all the time and like your inner circle. And I always say the same thing. I'm like, look, like Jeff Miller's course and his group literally changed my life, direction of my life. I 100% can safely say that. And it's not even so much the course that changed the direction of my life. It was like that inner circle of people where it was like, I was afraid of the outside world knowing what I was doing. But some of my closest friends, like Brett Watts, like we were talking. That's how I met Brett Watts, was in your inner circle. And so I was like talking to people who were doing the same thing, going through the same problems. And that was, I think, was a lot of the motivation I did to get to where I am today. Yeah,
it's almost like you got to find the tribe that you want to belong to. So
exactly, that's really what it was.
You were supposed to be a lawyer. Like everything in your bone and your family and your social circles, like you're gonna be a lawyer. And one day you wake up, you're like, no, I'm not. It ain't gonna happen. You didn't even apply to schools. You didn't even try to get in. You're like, this ain't gonna work. And like, I can see from like your family side, like you just gave up. You're like, screw it, I'm just gonna be a waiter. Like they're like, you had such potential.
That's literally, and my dad's Indian, right? My dad, my grandmother, all the Indian side, which I'm not like trying to stereotype anybody here, but in my family, at least, it's like, you're either a doctor or a lawyer and you go to the top school in the nation. And like you get a safe, secure job. Like that's what it was. And granted,
I'm Jewish, doctor, lawyer, accountant.
Oh, you're perfect. You know exactly. So like they all wanted what was best for me. Like they did all want what was best for me. I know they did. But the truth is they didn't know what was best for me. Like, you know, they didn't know what was actually best for me. They knew what society said was best for me. And, you know, it's ironic. I got on Fox News like a few months ago for my company, and like my aunt called me to congratulate me, my Indian aunt. And like after she congratulated me, I was like, yeah, we're doing great. We have like at the time we had like 60 something clients. So I'm like, yeah. So great. So when are you going to law school?
like, no, I'm not going back.
Like it's over. Forget it. Like you're never gonna accept it. So but
my parents they would never admit it, but I could see in their eyes like they were super disappointed when I said I'm not getting a PhD. They were like, what do you mean? Like, I know you're not a doctor, but you could have been a kind of doctor. Like, you could have been a doctor or lawyer, accountant. We need one of those in the family. And I'm like, it took me so long for me to realize that like my family knew what was best for them, taught by their parents, right? And we live in this weird uniqueness, internet first world where like we're exposed to a million different things. And what was best for us 70 years ago isn't the best for us 70 years from now.
It's a different world. It's like, that's what all the lawyers were telling me. They're like, dude, like if I was in your shoes right now and like I was my personality, everything like that, they're like, I wouldn't go do what, any robot, which I'm not disrespecting anybody in law school. Some of my best friends are in law school, but like anybody can go to law school and do 3 years and study the books and like whatever it is. Yeah. And I had just realized like, and this is where I hate seeing people like friends of mine that are still in college graduating, like you graduate and then it's like, you don't know what you're going to do next. So instead of taking a break from being like brainwashed by society for the past 16 years and like thinking to yourself, what do I want to do? What do 90% of people do? Oh, well, let me just go to graduate school because that's what everybody else is doing. You know what I mean? So they just sign away. For me, it was going to be about $250,000 in debt and 3 years of my life. They just sign on the dotted line and then boom, they're right back into the brainwashing society. And so for me, I was like, I have my LSAT score is good for 5 years. Let me pump my brakes and let me just let me think without having all this other shit coming at me. Let me think of what I actually want to do. And that's literally how it happened.
So LSAT, top 10%. Hey, mom and dad. Hey, whole family. I know you want me to be a lawyer. Guess what? I'm going crazy. Not going to happen. Right. And you realize you need a change in your life. Right. And did you know that you wanted to start a Facebook ad agency, or was it really that first experience with Tai Lopez saying there was a possibility?
Yeah, which by the way, I love listening to you talk, Jeff. You should be like a radio host. You always like summarize stuff so well. Like the way you break things down, it's like I'm turning pages in a book, my man. Perfect. Anyway, so yeah, I didn't know what I wanted to do. Like I honestly was like, I see people online like making money, and I see these like what would happen was I would see these testimonials like Tai Lopez, all these other people recharging their testimonials. Then I would quickly Facebook that person, and I'd look at their Facebook, and I'd be like, well, if this fucking jackass can make it, like I know for sure that I can do it. That's literally what my thought was. Like, this guy can do it. There's absolutely no reason why I can't do it. So that's why everyone bashes on social media a lot. But like, even though obviously that's how you and I build our businesses and our empires, but even before that, social media gave me the opportunity to just see what was possible. If I didn't have social media and I wasn't retargeted by those ads, I would have just had the influences of my family on me. And I would be in my second year of law school, right? I wouldn't even be making money yet. I'd still be in my second year of law school right now because that was what the influences were on me. So social media, everyone bashes it all the time, but it opened my eyes because I was like, dude, that guy's in fucking Bali right now, or that guy's traveling around the world, or that guy's making, the goal back then was like $10,000 a month. And so I was like, that guy's making $10,000. That's so much money. And so, it wasn't necessarily a Facebook ads agency that what I wanted. I just wanted to make money online. I saw it was e-commerce or SMMA, and I was going down one of those two routes, but e-commerce requires capital. And because I had been taking care of my dad for a year and studying for the LSAT with no job, I was about $10,000 in debt, credit card debt. And so I was like, well, SMMA it is. And literally started down that road and just got like clients, but I wasn't delivering results because all I was doing was like posting memes and boosting it on the front end, like no actual, like no lead generation. And it wasn't until I got your course and your inner circle that people started calling an agency, like an ads agency. And I started shifting to lead generation, which is when I was like, well, that makes more sense. People are going to pay me to deliver leads to them instead of like the plastic surgeon I used to work with, which bless his soul, he floated my whole company for the first 6 months. Like, I don't know why he kept on paying. I don't know why today he kept on paying, but for him, he was like, how do I know that these leads, like we're getting more business because of you? Like, how can you prove that? And I was like,
magic. I don't know.
I was like, there's no way to know. And now it's like, hey, full name, email, phone number for us. It's like that person bought a house from you and this is their contact information, et cetera, et cetera.
Fantastic. So you bought Tai Lopez's course. You realized SMMA, can't do e-commerce. You got a couple clients. What was like that big shift that made you go from like 2 or 3 or 4 clients? Like, holy crap, this could be like a real life business. Was it like going from like lead generation? Was it like all of a sudden you started like, I know we're going to talk about like VAs that like help you schedule appointments, but everyone's got like that first like, oh my God, this could be a thing, right? And for me, it was my bike shop, who's still around to this day, has paid $5,000 a minimum every month for like 18 months. And it was the first time because he sent me a text message saying somebody came in and asked about these emails. And I was like, holy shit, right? Like it's actually working. So was there like that moment where you're like, oh my God, this is working? Was it like,
Yeah, the funny thing is, once again, Jeff, credit to you. What happened was like, so I was still doing two clients like at the time. One was my cousin in New York, and he was running e-commerce, and I was like, running ads, which, God bless his soul too. I went up and saw him in New York a little bit ago.
I'm so sorry. Just
literally, we were out at a nice steak dinner, and I like paid for it, and I was like, hey, I just want to tell you, man, like you were the reason why I'm at where I am today. No joke, because like you believed in me when nobody else did, and like you and I both know that was not a successful campaign, and he eventually fired me, which I did not take it to heart. Yeah. But he's like, dude, I'm so happy for you. And so what happened was the longest time, and I actually was saying this in one of my student calls yesterday, the longest time of people knowing what I was doing, because I was afraid, like, okay, for the past 18 years, everyone thought I was going to be a lawyer, and that's what everything was geared towards. And all of a sudden it's like, everyone tells, post on your Facebook, hey, I'll run ads for free. If I did that on my Facebook page, everyone would be like, aren't you supposed to be in fucking law school right now? Like, what are you doing talking about Facebook ads? So nobody knew what I was doing. Nobody knew what I was doing in the first 6 months of my business. None of my family members, none of my friends, because remember, I went to Atlanta. I closed myself off from the world. I probably sent 10 text messages that entire year. No girlfriend, no friends, no going out, because I was doing LSAT. And so it was an easy transition for me. But the issue with that was that nobody knew what I was doing. And Grant Cardone talks about the number one reason you're not making more money is because obscurity. Not enough people know what you do and how you help people. And so I eventually invested in you and Andrew's HBO special, 2-hour special, which was probably still to this day one of the most valuable pieces of content I've gotten.
Appreciate it, yeah.
And like one of the things you guys talked about was like the Facebook personal funnel, right? Like letting people know what you're doing, like putting testimonials on there. And I was like fucking taking notes like nobody's business, writing down every name that you were on, and then I would Google every single name, Facebook all the names, like see what they were doing, and I would just copy and paste their captions and put it in my own and change it around. And so the biggest shift for me was when one of my clients I had gotten was just a referral from a friend, and it was a gym in Bluffton, South Carolina. And after 30 days, we generated like an extra $8,000 or $10,000 in revenue. And like this is a town of like 13,000 people, so it was a big fucking deal. And she's just like this bombshell blonde, super sweet, and so it could have been the better first testimonial. She like all dolled up, shot me a testimonial. And I was like, you know what, Ravi, like I'm so afraid of what I told myself I wasn't afraid of what other people thought, and I'm still not telling anybody what I'm doing. So I posted it on after I watched your special. I posted it on my Facebook, and essentially what happened was what I was so afraid of, people making fun of me, asking me why I'm not in law school, like ridiculing me and like telling me to go fuck off. Like my greatest fears were never realized. The opposite happened. We had like over 30 shares, probably 80 comments, like 150 likes, which, that happens relatively regularly now. But back then it was like, holy fuck. And so I got DMs from all of my friends from my fraternity, all of my friends from college, like high school friends, like, hey, can you do this for me? Can you do this for my parents' business? And I went from like maybe $3,000 to the next month we did $12,000. And it was just like, for me, it was just like, so cool. And that's when I realized like the power of personal brand and the power of letting other people know what you're doing, who you are, how you deliver results. And like after that, it's just obviously, the rest.
It's so funny. Like we're so afraid of people making fun or like people shaming us, something like that. And 99% of the time, it never happens the way you expect. Like your biggest fear at the gym is you get massively injured and everybody says, why are you here, fatty? No, that doesn't happen. Like everyone's like, yeah, man, we're psyched you keep chugging along. Like that you don't get the flack that you expect, especially when you started, because most people want you to excel and succeed. And when somebody in your social circle is getting results, everybody says, can he get results for me? Right. And that was what I think changed for you, and ultimately what changed for me, because if you go back to my personal profile, I did a curious student. I was so ashamed of it, I deleted it.
I remember you talking about that.
I was like, nobody's going to like this. This is horrible. And there's like so much brain trash that you have back when you're starting out that you just don't need to have, but there's no way around it. And I posted it, I removed it. And then a month later, I posted it again. And still, it took me 3 months for me to admit to myself that I was doing Facebook ads. Up to then, it felt like I was doing it in like the basement, like shamefully, like I'll just like, no, man, that doesn't need to be the case. And my agency went like this when all I was doing was posting case studies, screenshots, proof testimonials, and all that. And to this day, I still get clients saying, hey, I saw your proof on Facebook. Can we do business together?
And the crazy thing is, I was saying this in a podcast yesterday. The crazy thing is, look, I'll be real with everybody listening to this right now. Are you going to have haters? 100%. I still had friends like back in my hometown that were making fun of me, and they'd make fun of like my videos that I used to do, like all that stuff. I'd like walk into the bar and they'd be like, oh, I'm Robbie Walla. You know what I mean? And at first it hurt me a little bit, but then I really realized two things very quickly. And if you're watching this, pay attention. Number one, those people that are making fun of you, it's actually good that you let everybody know what you're doing. You start putting content out there, because those people are going to surface, and you can fucking cut those people out of your life immediately, right? Like, I'm just like, okay, well, block. I delete all your numbers on my phone. I don't need to talk to any of you guys. Like, get you the fuck out of my life. And you won't know who's like secretly the snakes in the grass until you start putting yourself out there. Then they reveal themselves and you're like, bye. Like, that's the first of the two things. And the second thing is the people that do that, and this is what something I really realized that started shifting my mindset. People that make fun of people and don't support people and like, oh, you're out there doing that thing. They are super insecure that you're out there taking, like we talked about in the beginning, taking mistakes, like literally be willing to fail. They're so insecure that you're willing to do that and you don't give a shit that they're making fun of you because of it. So instead of me being like super upset and like angry at myself and like I'd like leave the bar and like be pissed off, I was like, fuck these guys. Now I'm like, damn, I really feel bad for these guys. Like they're still doing the same thing they've been doing for the past 10 years and like they're not growing at all. You know what I mean?
There's a guy that made fun of my Jeff Miller's marketing videos. And like I blocked a bunch of people, but I didn't unblock him because I wanted him to know how much it hurt
to see
me win. Right. And it's like, man, I'm probably going to do a personal best for me this year than ever before, which is probably 3 times more than he can ever make. And like, it's like, yes. Right. Cause that guy, like when you're an adult, you can make these decisions, right? Like you can say like, I want to hang out with you. I don't, but like in high school and college, like your relationships are formed for you. When you start adulting, you choose your relationships, but it's so awesome to like, I like that analogy. You don't know the snakes in the grass until you start surfacing, which is super cool. We've got some bullet points on here. I don't know how much we can stick with them because this conversation is going pretty good, but let's see what happens, right? Because you went from $2,000 a month to $150,000 or $155,000 a month, right? And in the bullet points, it's like 3 things you did right and 3 things you did wrong that got your agency to where it is today. So can you talk about that for a bit? Like 3 things you did right, some things that you did wrong?
Yeah, I'd be happy to. So like, I'll start with the wrong stuff, right? Start with the bad, then we'll get the good. Like some of the things I did wrong was in the beginning. So like you talk about it really well is like, look, in the first few months of your agency, like while you're trying to figure shit out, like having just like bike shops, chiropractors, dentists, doctors, like real estate agents, loan officers in the beginning, when you're building up your agency, 100% that's the best thing to do because, you know, you can figure out who you like working with. You can keep your fucking lights on, you can pay your bills, and you can get testimonials all across the board, right? And you can see who you can deliver results for. My issue, the reason that I had a big problem was that I didn't niche down at one point and I stayed doing like everybody, the general body contractor.
You have to do a transition. Like,
eventually you literally can't just keep on taking on everybody. And like, eventually I had to make that transition. And that was one of the things I made a mistake in the beginning was I held too long on to just like, oh, you have a credit card? Yeah, I can do essential oils. Like I don't even know what essential oils were at that point. But, essential oils. I can do essential oils. Like
sounds great.
MLM schemes, like real estate agents, like I did coaches. It was just like anybody that could pay me, I was doing it. But the problem with that, guys, is that when you're doing that, you're spending so much time. Like if I told you, oh my God, I hope this essential oils person doesn't watch this. But like what happened when I took her on, I like met her at a BNI meeting and I like took her on. The next month, I didn't work on my business at all. All I was doing was like fucking Googling and paying people that were in the essential oils business, like for their advice to figure out what would work in the essential oils. And it ended up being like a huge flop. I refunded them all their money. Like it was just, and I just wasted a whole 30 days on it. So like the biggest mistake people make, and I made myself, was like not niching down at some point where you're like, okay, I like working with these people. I can deliver results and I can scale from there. So like, that's literally number one is like deciding, okay, at some point I need to figure out where I'm going and who I'm helping. And the biggest companies, unless you're like advertising agencies charging $30,000 a month in New York and you have 300 employees, like you could, like my sister works for one, like they can take on anybody because they have 300 employees and it's not a big deal. But if you're trying to scale efficiently and quickly, it's wiser to choose that niche down early, right?
Correct.
Are you gonna say something?
I was gonna say, like, what's interesting is like, I think like the challenge is like when you niche too early, you deal with so much brain trash. Like you think you have to be an expert, you think you need all this stuff. And the answer is like when you're just starting out, you have other problems that need to be taken care of. Like you need to know how to pitch, right? You need to know how to conversation. You need to know how to close. And it's really hard to do that while masquerading as an expert because your brain will be like, you're not an expert. You've got like, what is it? Like everyone's trying to be Gary Vee, but they're like afraid of it. Or I forget the term, right? Like you feel like you're a fraud, right? But if you just say, look, I'm going to do business with as many people as I can. Because of that, I know I'm going to be okay with getting okay results. Bike shops, car washes, plumbers, all that stuff. You're going to keep your lights on. You're going to get paid. You're going to prove it to yourself that it works, right? You get testimonials, and then you're going to find the one or two that you want to focus on, and then you kind of go all in. And you made that transition pretty effectively, right?
Yeah, and luckily I had an agency coach at some point, and it was like even like when we were doing 60K a month, I'm like, I fucking hate real estate agents. I'm so tired of this. Like, I want to go to another niche. And like he would just be like, Ravi, you're being a little bitch right now. Like, stay where you know what you're doing. Stay with, and I'm so grateful for him because he would tell me that, and I'd like sleep on it after I got like 2 complaints on the same day, and then I'd like wake up the next day and I'd be like, you know what, you're right. Like, I need to just keep on doing what I'm doing, and that's literally that has happened to me multiple times. So it's not perfect, and you have to realize like, look, every industry and niches has its problems. Like everyone's like, oh, I want to do real estate because it's easy to reach, or I don't want to do chiropractors because it's like every industry has a problem. I promise you. So that was like the first thing, and then the second thing was that I was so focused, and like it's so interesting. I'm so different than everybody else in this sense, and like people are gonna hate me for saying this, but like I was so focused on fulfillment on these clients, right? I was so focused on like delivering the perfect ad and the perfect landing page and like, you know, a 180-day email series and editing all of that. And like, oh, you want chatbots? Yeah, we'll do chatbots. Like, oh, you want like SEO? We'll do SEO. Like, and I was spending so much time when I got a client fulfilling that client that like essentially it would be like outreach. And then I got like 3 clients and then fulfillment. Because I was like everything for those clients, everything. And then for whatever reason, one of a million reasons, their kid got sick. They had a bad month in business. Like they just hate you, whatever it is. Like they don't do business with Indians. Like they're just like, you know what, we're done with you essentially. And then now I'm back at the bottom. I have to go lead generation. And it's just the up and down wave. And what I realized was that we went from, and this is when we really started pivoting. I went from like doing everything for everybody to niching down to one service, one offer, one campaign that we can duplicate. I can create a campaign for a real estate agent end to end for our whole thing. And my team does it now in less than 15 minutes. Beautiful. Right. So it's just like, boom, just like that. And so that's the other mistake people make all the time is like, oh, you want a chatbot? Yeah, we'll do a chatbot. When in reality for real estate, like we did not see a big difference in using a chatbot and not using a chatbot. And if anybody here has set up chatbots before, you know, they're a huge pain in the ass to set up. Like it's like hours and hours. And so you think of the 80-20 rule, like, is the effort I'm doing towards this right now going to make that much of a difference in this person's service or business or deliverability? And so like Sam Ovens talks about the MVC, MVS, MVP, right? Minimum viable service, product, course, whatever it is. And so we were just like, everyone goes so much way above and beyond. Once again, guys, like deliver results for your clients. I'm not saying be an asshole, but I'm saying like at some point, they're not even noticing the difference that you're doing, putting an extra 12 hours in. They're not even seeing the difference of it. And so like, go ahead.
This happens all the time, specifically in like this public group and inside of the inner circle. They'll spend hours reviewing copy, like finding like, we got to shave like 2 or 3 words because somebody said the best message is 140 characters, not 160 characters. It needs to be on the second line. The link has to be here. And like, you know, you're fighting over razor thin margins right now. Just launch your damn ad, get it like 80 to 90% immediately, right? And then focus on like down the line, because what the mistake that we make is the same mistake that we hate other people making. So like, I hate it when a plumber comes in and talks about the wrenches in the pipes. Like, I don't give a shit about there's shit in the bathtub. Fucking just fix it, right? Just fix it. It's up to you to use the tool, right? The mechanic that talks about like valve timings and piston, like, I don't care, man. I just need my car driven, right? We accidentally do the same exact thing to our clients. When we talk about landing pages and chatbots and soap opera sequences, 90-day or 180-day, what we're doing is we're getting too technical and forgetting that the best way we serve is by getting results as fast as possible, right? So like for everybody watching this, whether in the public group or in the inner circle, spend less time on your landing page, spend less time on your ads, and just focus on getting the result as soon as possible. Then your client will have more money to pay you next month. You don't get paid extra because it took you 30 days to deliver what I could do in 3 days, right? That's kind of what you're trying to communicate, right?
Yeah, 100%. Oh, and I had a consultation with a gentleman, real estate, and he was like, he was spending days trying to figure out how to fix this ad campaign and see how it worked. And like after that, I was like, dude, have you been doing any outreach? He's like, no, this is all I've been focusing on. And I was like, well, how much are they paying you? And they're like, it's a free trial. And I was like, Jesus Christ, man. Why? I was like, dude, cut your fucking losses, man. Like, it's not going to work for everybody. Like, just tell this person, which I've done 100 times after month one, like, hey, look, sorry, we can't do this. Lead costs are too high. I can't get it down. I'm sorry for wasting your time, whatever it is. Boom, move on. Like, you just move on to the next thing. But people are split testing 100 different times. Like you said, like, should I put an emoji before the first line? Should I put it after the first line? And I'm the kind of guy is like, what is it? Like, aim, ready, fire, or fire, ready, aim? Yeah, fire, ready, aim. It's like, I just do it first. And then like, well, just like you said, we'll figure it out along the way. So just complete it.
Yeah, just get it done. So like Nick Robbins, based out of Utah, his agency is like $3 to $5 million a year. He built his agency $0 to $1 million by doing not 30-day trials, not 2-week trials, but 10 lead trials, right? I'm going to send you 10 leads. It takes him 3 hours, right? We're done. We're going to do a trial by 9 a.m. By lunch, are you signing or not, right? Yeah. So he's getting results that take you 30 days, but in 3, and signing people faster than ever before. And he doesn't care if it takes his client 30 days or 3 days to make a decision. You need to make a decision right now. Otherwise, I'm going to spend too much time trying to baby your brain and not like taking care of me and myself. So go on. What were we talking about?
Yeah, and then the final kind of point, and that's a great, and I love Nick Robbins. Nick Robbins is a man. He's a great agency guy. Just like you, honestly, you and Nick Robbins, I'll say, like, I put you guys both on the same level in the sense of like, just obviously a lot of guys are out here to just take people's money, and you guys just provide insane value, and you have like the numbers to back it up. So mad props to both of you guys, 100%. But the third thing on there is like employees, right? And we'll get into this a little bit later. But like the third and final thing was, I was still trying to, even once I like focused on lead generation, and even once I started like packaging my back end offer, like I was still the solopreneur, right? Yep. I was still like the only guy making it work, working 18-hour days, like trying to make everything happen. And like, number one, what was supposed to be like this luxurious lifestyle where I was traveling the world and enjoying all the fun, I'm now working 18-hour days, like less than my friends working 9 to 5, and I'm making more money. But technically, if you add in like my hourly versus what I was making less money than they were in their 9 to 5, right? Like if you do the math. And so for me, I started realizing like, look, I'll tell you right now, guys, if you were the only person in your business, like you're not a business, like you're an employee, like you are the employee at that point. So not disrespectfully, but you guys need to start shifting your focus onto like outsourcing stuff. And we'll talk about later the first things to outsource, but like you need to start thinking, look, it's okay to take a day off. It's okay to take 2 days off. Like it's okay to feel sick someday and like not want to work some days. And like, that's totally fine. That's called human nature. Like it happens, shit happens, like whatever it is. But what you don't want to happen is like when you want to take that day off, like when you want, like obviously I've been traveling all across the world the past 6 months, like while I'm doing stuff, and I still work while I'm there, but if we want to do like ATVs or helicopter rides and I remove myself from that day for my business, I still know we're doing 1,500 pieces of outreach that day. I still know we have 18 booked appointments that day. I still know all my client management, all that stuff's happening in the back end, and I can go enjoy my time. Because what people mess up is like, even if you took that day off, like let's say you take a Thursday off in the middle of the week, like in your mind, at least if you guys are anything like me, like especially when I used to drink, you're freaking out. You're like, oh my God, like you can't enjoy yourself. You can't sit back and enjoy life, right? And so that's the problem, because you're the only person in your business. And if anything, God forbid, anything were to ever happen to you, like you're done with. There's nothing you can do. And also, people don't think about exit plans a lot, right? Like what do you want to do in 5 years? Like what's your exit plan? Like people don't talk about it until you hit a certain level. You hear people talking about exit plans. And so like if you're just starting, I know it's hard to think of an exit plan, but you do need to think like, do you want to do this the rest of your life, or do you want to sell it at some point, right? And the problem with selling it is that you need a system and a package and a deliverable for somebody else to buy it. Because if someone else is buying it and you're the one doing everything, like, dude, you're not selling a company, you're selling yourself. Like, you know what I mean? You're an employee now. Like even the biggest companies in the world, I was listening to a podcast with like Reddit, they had when they sold it originally, they had to fucking stay on board for like 2 years afterwards because they didn't have anybody really running in the back end for them. And he said that was a big mistake that he made. And so like start removing every single day. This is what you do. Every single day you wake up and you say, how can I fire myself in my business? Like how can I remove myself more and more from my business, and put systems and processes in place and employees in order to do that for you.
That sounds very like Sam Ovens, that approach. Like find the bottleneck, find the document, SOP, that thing. Like, and I've always been uncomfortable with the term SOP. So really just write stuff down and give it to somebody else. Like that's all it takes. Do a Loom video. like I've been trying to like catch myself in my lies. And I realized like earlier today, I was like, I'm still copying and pasting emails from this fucking Google Sheet into Active Campaign. Like the Zap will never work. Active Campaign keeps breaking. All I have to do is shoot a Loom video and pay somebody 35 cents to every Monday, log in and do it. And I don't have to think about it anymore because it's not about the time. It's about the managerial bandwidth in your brain that it's taking up. Because you're going, I got to figure out something else to put in there. I got to figure out something else to take a next step with. And I can't do that when I'm thinking about copy and pasting that shit into there. And that was one of the
adds up over time too. Even if it's like the time aspect of it, over 6 months, if you're spending 10 minutes every single day doing one thing, like that's a lot of time.
Yep. And it stops you from doing other stuff. And whether that stuff is like living the life that you want or finding a better 10-minute thing to do, or even if it's just like hiring a cold email outreach VA agency, whatever it is, something that'll move the needle, you end up kind of uncomfortably handicapping yourself and going back to that employee mentality that, I mean, it's just about billable hours or something like that to make a lawyer reference, right?
Literally.
But so it's been really cool talking about those things. I want to keep the conversation moving forward so that all 130 people watching like really like see the
130. Holy shit, man.
Crazy,
this
right?
is like, wow. Awesome. So, thank you guys for watching.
It's super fun. So the second bullet point is the one thing you wish you had started doing sooner to bring in more revenue and what made you 40 G's in 1 month.
Yeah, 40K, man. That's a nice little number right there.
I remember, by the way, when that was like an impossible monthly figure.
Seriously. I remember when 10K was like the god, like the holy thing. Yeah, I know.
$10,000. Yeah.
And now it's like I won't get into that, but yeah, if I don't make 10K in like a few, it's like that's my 3-day ad spend. But essentially, what we started doing was like, and this is when we started getting virtual assistants and outsourcing and stuff like that. But the number one thing that we did was I realized like, okay, and my good friend John Whitting, he was the one that taught me this, and it was like outflow equals inflow. Right. So the number of touches that you make every single day, whether that's email, cold calls, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, BNI meetings, Chamber of Commerce meetings, you and I just having a casual conversation. I still remember that. I think it was John Logar had that like, what is that? The little like activity thing. Yeah. And that was a part of it as well. Like you pitch somebody every single day, talk to somebody every single day. And so outflow equals inflow. And so once I realized that and how true that absolutely was, I realized, well, like as far as like actual sales calls, I don't want to outsource that yet because I don't really know what I'm doing yet. But like the outflow part, like I can have somebody else do this for me and I can have somebody else do it. Because let's be honest, like someone sent me an Instagram message this morning, like, Ravi, I've been doing this. It's not for me. Ads agency isn't for me. I can't get an appointment, whatever it is. Like, I've been doing this. And I was like, how many messages you send out a day? He's like, I've been sending 500 messages a day. I was like, okay, that's not bad. I was like, okay, how many days have you been doing it? He's like, I've been doing it 5 days, man, and no response. And he's like, this isn't for me. I'm like, 5 days, dude? Like, you're about to fucking leave. I was like, you're right. If you're going to quit after 5 days, entrepreneurship is not for you. I 100% guarantee you that. I was so mean to him on this Instagram thing, and that's just how I am. I was like, dude, if you're quitting after 5 days, like, it's going to get harder. It's just going to get harder. There's no easier part of it. You just make more money and have more fun, but it does get harder 100%. And so the biggest thing that we did was I was like, okay, let's be honest. Let's all just be honest here for 1 second. Everyone watching this, all 100 and whatever, like, nobody here thinks that it's worth their time to sit down in front of the computer for 8 hours of a day and send 50 Facebook messages and send like 50 Instagram messages and send all these emails and respond back to these emails and confirm appointments and send LinkedIn messages. And it shouldn't be. Like if you charge like, whatever, $500 an hour your time or $200 an hour your time, whatever you do, and you're doing like 8 hours of it, like just an outreach thing, you're essentially saying that I'd rather pay $1,600 in order to send this outreach rather than pay somebody $10 or $15 in order to do it for me.
I like that line of thinking, which is like you're billing yourself. You're like, if I'm going to spend 4 hours doing these stupid cold emails by myself by hand, and so I have to pay myself $2,000. And it's like, I ain't got $2,000 to spend on myself, right?
Right now, 100%.
Yeah, I got to find someone else to do this. So is that like your one thing?
It really is like finding somebody else and then having that person that as soon as you find that other person, and I don't give a shit if it's your brother, your cousin, like we like overseas people, we like our VA staffing agency, we find people for $2 an hour because especially when you're starting out. Like, you can't afford someone in the U.S. that wants $55,000 a year and healthcare and Medicare and teeth and all that. Then you have HR and like you can't say anything inappropriate or whatever, which is a problem for me. And so like that's why we like overseas people, the cost, all that stuff, but also because they're so grateful and they're like, if you go to a United States person, you're like, hey, I want you to send, like, I've talked to people in cold call centers and like all that, and they just like, they're always looking to leave. They're like, what's the next thing? Because of today's information age in the US, they just know what's potentially out there, and they like don't think that it's worth their time. And so they're not efficient and they're always looking to quit. Versus overseas people, I had an interview yesterday with a client, actually someone in your inner circle, a VA and myself, and they were like, I was like, okay, we start at $2 an hour. Is that okay with you? And she was like, Mr. Abubala, I don't care what I get paid. I'm just grateful for the opportunity to work. And I literally told the guy, I was like, yeah, good luck trying to find that in the fucking US. And he was like, America's screwed. He was like, okay, you're so screwed right now. So the point being, like, shifting it to where you can have somebody else focus on that outreach, which is the number one thing we focus on, so that they're doing 800 to 1,000 touch points every single day. Doesn't matter if it's a holiday, doesn't matter if you're sick, hungover, drunk, like having sex, whatever it is, you know that there's 800 touch points.
That's that out. HR policy kicking in again, right?
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, I'm super inappropriate. But that is literally, every single day that's happening, and that's how you start having growth like this, and eventually it compounds to where it's literally skyrocketing up like that. And so that was the one thing that I realized, and I'm so grateful I did back then, was like, look, if you can just outsource the most important part of an agency, which is like setting appointments, then at that point you can just take care of the rest of your shit yourself, and then eventually remove yourself fully from it.
So outflows inflow, right? So you need more stuff coming in to have better stuff going out, right? And you really got to pick your battles, because maybe you're saying, all right, I need more people hitting appointments on my calendar, so I need to send like 1,500 touch points all across the world and all across the United States or whatever your target market is, and you're going to take you all day long. Okay, fine. But if you're doing that, you're going to be up and down, right? You're never going to leave your business. You're going to be in this really cool scenario when you do take a vacation. Mentally, you're still back at your office, right?
Yeah.
And that really messes with your mind, right? Even like full-time employees, they get a fucking weekend, right? So what I'm hearing from you is the one thing is finding somebody else to do that type of stuff, to do that outflow or inflow or whatever that bottleneck in your business is, to just do it, pay them, get it done. So you're on the receiving end and you can get 5, 10 appointments a day or something like that. Somebody that wants to buy what you have to sell. Is that about right?
Yeah, that's exactly it. Like, and it changes pretty fucking quickly. Like, I know Raj posted in the inner circle, he was in a video with you, like within 14 days of working with us, he went to 2 appointments a week, and now he has 8 every single day consistently. Like, you know, and life changes, like drastically life changes when you are consistently doing appointments every single day. Like, then you can hire a salesperson, then you can hire a fulfillment person, then you can have an account manager, then you can invest to be in another inner circle or a high level mastermind. Then you meet more people there. Like, but it all starts with more appointments. Like, that's where it all starts. And people, they're so afraid, like, just the way, and once again, I'm going to steal this from you because you're a fucking genius, but it's like the way your mind works. It's like the most uncomfortable stuff in the world is reaching out to people and ask them for business and set appointments and take appointments. And so your mind is gonna be like, no, Ravi, don't wake up and do that. Instead, try to figure out which color your logo should be and how nice your website should be, because you have 4 monthly visitors to your website, and one of them might convert if you have a better picture on the top. And so that stuff is super comfortable. And so for me, I know personally, another reason why we like to outsource it is because I just know in my mind that cold calling, I absolutely fucking hated, and emails and LinkedIn messages and hearing the negative responses, which happens all the time, I hated that, and that brought me down. So, and me realizing what my weakness is and how the human brain works, I essentially said, you know what? I'm going to pay somebody else to have to deal with all that shit, and I'm just going to get on the phone with the people that are like ready to speak with me and that actually want to do it. And so that's another benefit of this as well. It's like, hey, you don't have to deal with any of the bullshit, and you know that if you relied on yourself, like, you're probably the most, what's the word, unreliable person in the world. Like, if you really think about it, you're literally the most unreliable person in the world. And so why not pay somebody else? And we were so afraid to invest. God, it hurts my heart. I'm like, okay, dude, if you don't want to pay an employee, like, there's nothing we can do about this right now. Like, you're going to have fun being poor. That's one of my favorite sayings. Like, have fun being poor, because you're never going to get past a certain mark. I don't give a shit who you are. And so, like, invest in that, because it's not, I was at a Thrive conference and this guy said, it ain't cost you money if it makes you money, is what he said. He's a Southern guy. So it doesn't cost you money if it makes you money. So, like, we had to pay this in order to make this happen. Well, if you're making 5, 10, 15 times that, like, that's just going to be negligible. So have a little faith in the system.
It's so funny, like, the unhealthy relationship that we have with money. Like, it's just at the core unhealthy. Like, it owns us instead of us owning it. The best feeling I had, by the way, was 3 weeks ago when I bought into a whole nother training, and that training got me 15 more appointments a week. And I was like, why the fuck didn't I do this sooner, right? And the guy that I'm on the phone with, and I can't say his name because he doesn't want any more people. He only was like 4 or 5, and I don't know why he picked me. Like, out of like, why would you, like, he DM'd me. I was like, I don't understand why you, but I was like, fine, here you go. And he's just happy to see people succeed because they break through that investment in themselves type thing. The second best feeling I had was 2 weeks ago when I paid somebody who does sales agents as a service or salespeople as a service. He's going to find me 2 or 3 sales guy. So guess what, guys? I'm out of the equation. I didn't got to rely on my emotional ups and downs to generate appointments and to do sales. All I have to do is put more money into the system and more money comes out, outflow info. It's like, and it feels so much better because I don't have to rely on me. I can rely on people smarter than me. Like Elon Musk isn't saying, God, Tesla's future is based upon whether or not I can assemble a car today. Like he doesn't think that way, right? But for some reason, everybody on the planet Earth starting out their Facebook ad agency says, oh no, I can't spend $5 an hour on an employee or $10 an hour on an employee. I need to spend 6 effing hours studying a case study on how blue versus red increase conversion rates of points. It's like, no.
Hurts my heart. It hurts my heart. And at some point, what you guys will realize, like, I'm going to just be super transparent with you. All of the comments that you guys see that I commented on the post when Jeff announced me, that was my VA in there commenting every single one of those things on there. So it's like life becomes incredible when you, and Justin Saunders is one of my clients as well. And like his agency is fucking taking off. And like he called me one day and he's like, dude, life is so nice right now because all I do is I wake up and I figure out what can I create an SOP for on something that I just never have to do ever again in my life, ever again. And like when that's your daily grind is like, how can I remove myself more and more? You go back to loving your business. Like at some point, you guys might be where I was and where Jeff might have been at one point where it's just like, God, I got into this to have freedom and like time, location, and financial freedom. And right now I'm spending 12 hours a day or 15 hours a day. I'm making no money and I'm stuck to my fucking desk, which is just like the opposite of what you wanted. And so like it's incredibly possible, you guys, in order to get to that other side. You just have to invest a little bit in yourself and realize like you're not going to do it by yourself. And if you try to do it by yourself, then you're going to fail straight up 100%.
I just saw a comment by James Baskin that's like, my VA put me in a relationship. I'm like, is your VA responding to your Bumble and your Twitter? Like, what do you mean?
James who? James Cluster?
No, sorry, James Baskin. James Cluster hasn't like come on live in like 2 weeks and I PM him and I yell at him because of it. But that's so funny.
He's one of my clients too.
That's so awesome. So that's why he messaged me. He's like, holy shit, this is crazy. I can't tell you what's going on, but I just got 50 like appointments in like a week. So I guess there you go. That was you, right? Which is fantastic. Last bullet point is how you hired employees for $2 an hour to do about 90% of your agency work. So now that you're on the other side, you know that's possible, right? But what was it like making that transition? How did you find your first VA? What was that like? And what was that experience like?
Yeah, sure. So essentially, like when I first started, when I realized I needed a VA, and luckily I actually watched an interview in fucking Nick Rodman's group, and someone was talking about VAs and how important it was in VAs, just like this. And so the guy ran a VA staffing agency just like I did, but I knew it was going to be expensive. And I was like, you know what? I'm not going to pay him. I'm going to figure it out on my own. So I went to Facebook groups and I went on Upwork and I went on Fiverr and like, I was just sending out messages, posting jobs. And like, we got some people, number one, they weren't $2 an hour. It was like $5 an hour, which, you know, it's still a great deal, but 2 to 5 is a big difference too. And the other issue was they were like contractors. And so like they work for me, but they're also working for 6 other businesses at the exact same time, right? Like they're not invested in my company. They're not invested in my future, my vision. Like they don't grow with me. They could do, if I went under, they could give less shits. They have another job going on. And so I did that for a little bit of time. And was it successful? Yeah, like we were doing pretty well, to be honest with you. And you can 100% start out that way. Like I if it's that or nothing, like go on Fiverr, go on Upwork, go on Facebook groups, find a VA. And like start figuring out what is the thing that moved the needle forwards. Hint, hint, it's outflow equals inflow. So whatever, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, email, and start outsourcing that every single day. But essentially what happened to me was at some point, just like we had talked about earlier, I was like, you know what, I need to invest in myself. Like I'm at a turning point in my agency. I have a little bit of money. So I reached out to the guy, we got on a call. What I was told was the price. It was 5 or 6 times that price was actually when I got on a call with him. Yeah, it was like at the end of it, I was like, dude, I thought it was this price. And he was like, more results mean it costs more. Like more
Yeah.
testimonials mean it costs more. And I couldn't even be upset. I'm like, you know what? You're a business owner, whatever it is.
Yeah.
So I just made the jump and I made the investment into it. And what happened was I ended up getting a virtual assistant. Her name is Mel Jane. She's like the love of my life, to be honest with you. She's in the Philippines. And I got not only a VA, but full training with him. And I got the VA came to me fully trained. And so for the first 6 weeks of this VA with me, she was teaching me. Like she was, we were getting on a call every day and she was teaching me like, hey, no, Mr. Abubala, you need to be doing it this way instead of that way. Like you need to be sending emails or no.
You're doing it wrong. I'm going to show you what to do.
They would tell me that. And like I had the mindset, I was like, well, I already paid this amount of money. I might as well listen to this. And it literally, I'm not joking with you. Like when I say I love her, I really do. Like she has changed my life. We've launched multiple 7-figure businesses using her and our other virtual assistants. And it just, I essentially went to it just like anything else, right? Just like trying to start a Facebook ads agency without investing in Jeff Miller's course and being in inner circle. Like just like trying to start e-commerce without getting a mentor, trying to start a business without having a franchise, whatever it is. Like I didn't have a blueprint. And so I was really just firing from the hip. And like, can you be successful like that? Yeah, 100%. Yeah. Will it take a lot more time? 100%, definitely. And the one thing we don't have a lot in this world is time. And so for me, I was like, you know what? So like now we have a recruiter in the Philippines and like I pull people from Amazon, AT&T, American Express. Like, so they are like fully, they have hundreds of hours of training. You couldn't, if you close your eyes, you couldn't even tell that they were in the Philippines. They sound like they're in Atlanta, Georgia. You know what I mean? And so like you can find $2 an hour. I don't know if you can find $2 an hour VAs places. You can probably find $5 an hour VAs. And like I said in the beginning, if it's between that and nothing, 100% get a VA. I don't care if it's $8 an hour. If they're doing the right shit, it's going to pay for itself. 100%. Like there's no question about it. If it's $8 an hour, make the investment. Or you can find someone that actually like has proven concepts, has scripts, has courses, teach you how to do the SOPs and do it the other way as well. Whatever is better for you. But I hope at the end of this video, everyone that's watching this realizes that you need to do something. Like what you're doing right now isn't working. So you need to do one of those two routes.
Absolutely fantastic. So you're okay with doing 3 15-minute strategy sessions, right? Like that's all right with you?
That's totally cool with me. Yeah.
All right, cool guys. So if you're interested in having a one-on-one conversation with Ravi, finding more about a story about how he hires VAs, how he gets stuff done, inflow, outflow, removes bottlenecks from business, went from 2K to, blows my mind to say this. Like I'm officially envious and jealous of your success. Like $155,000 a month.
We actually did 100. I did that before. I completed that before the end of the month. We did 183 that month.
183,000. Yeah. I'm so happy for you. 183K, hashtag Robbie my face. I'll connect the three of you and we'll take a next step. We're going to take 2 or 3 questions and then we'll bring the sucker to a close. Absolutely fantastic interview. Charlie says, what training do you give your VAs for outreach? Is that something you can like talk about for a little bit?
Yeah, sure. I'll give away everything right here on the live. Essentially like the training that we do, we create SOPs like what Jeff was talking about in the beginning. And we use an app called Asana, ASANA. It's a website. It's free. It's like a checklist. And so I would write on there, like, whatever I was doing to do the outreach that was working, I just knew I wasn't doing enough of it. I would like sit down and create an SOP like, okay, what do I do? Well, I open my email, I open up like the email scraper, I type in real estate agent, I type in a city, I download it. And so whatever I was doing while at the same time I was doing it, I would type in a checklist of me, how I was doing it. And then after I finished the checklist A to Z, I then would go over it, but I would use Loom and record myself going over it. So there's 2 levels. So there's written and there's a video of me actually going through it as well. And so when I was able to do that, which by the way, number 1 should be outreach is how you should outsource it. I was able to do that. It was super easy for my VA to come in and see exactly what we had to do. And now they create SOPs for me and for themselves now. But like, that's what you need to do. That's the first step you need to do is creating SOPs using like Asana or Trello checklist. If you can't describe it in 2 minutes or less to a 9-year-old, either you don't understand it or your VA is not going to understand it or both you guys aren't going to understand it. So make it stupid simple and then create a video behind it as well. And that's how you do an efficient SOP in my opinion.
So you're typing it out, you're doing it yourself, you're doing a Loom video, and then you just send it out and then they take care of it forever. Gotcha. So
you never have to worry about it again.
That really keeps things like interesting, new, and creative. Like you're always learning something new instead of having to like repeat again and again and again and again.
Yeah, you only have so much brain space, right? Like you literally only have so much brain space. So
I like calling it
just brain dump it.
Managerial bandwidth because it just.
I know. I heard you say that. I was like, wow. Have you trademarked that? I gotta have my VA go trademark that for me right now. But no, that's exactly what it is. And like ATMs, like I don't want to get on a tangent real quick, but like someone came to me with the idea of ATMs a little bit ago, and I was like, dude, that's so fantastic. I don't want to get distracted from what I'm doing right now. So what did I do? I reached out to somebody that runs an ATM company. I said, hey, we're going to get you appointments. Will you split 50-50 profit share with me? He said yes. I created a 10-minute SOP for my VAs to reach out to people in the United States that run dispensaries, barbershop, salons, set appointments just like they've been for me. Literally took me 10 minutes. Within 10 days, I had 14 ATMs installed, and those would give me recurring revenue every single month. And so it's just like, it allows you to brain dump ideas and businesses on other people. And that way you can take action immediately. And you're not like, 6 months later, like, man, I wish I started that ATM business,
That's so awesome. We've got another thing that says, like, do you have any quotas, or how do you measure like results for your VAs, or is that even like a question?
No, yeah. So 2 things we do. We use something called screenshotmonitor.com. It's free up to a certain amount of employees, and then it's like $8 an employee. But it takes a screenshot of your VA's computer screen every 2 minutes, so you can make sure they're doing the right shit when they're supposed to be doing it. And that's also how we do payroll. And then the other thing that we do is, like, we have something called a daily meeting every single morning. Like I said, I fire myself more and more for my business, so I don't do them with my team anymore. My account manager does. But essentially, it's like, hey, daily meeting. Everyone's there on the call, Zoom call, 9 a.m. And it's like, how many clients do we have right now? How many clients do we want in the next 30 days? How many emails did we send last week? How many emails did we send this week? How many positive replies did we get last week? How many positive replies did we get this week? Same thing with LinkedIn, same thing with Facebook, same thing with Facebook ads. How many appointments did we set? How many appointments did we confirm? So it's just called KPIs, right? If anybody here knows what a KPI is, like, we just say we compare this week to last week and this month to last month. And that way I'm able to I'm not part of it anymore, but I can pull up my Slack. I'd be like, shoot a message like, hey, why are we down 500 emails this week compared to last week? So I'm always on top of it and always making sure that we're at least incrementally going up. You know what I mean?
Absolutely fantastic. Last question that can bring us to a close. What type of real estate clients are you working with, and what packages are you offering?
So we work about 30 to 40%, I don't know the exact number, is luxury. So, and we consider luxury 1.5 million homes and above is what we're trying to sell. And then we work with mostly brokerages because we have a higher price point, roughly a higher price point, but we also have single agents and teams. But essentially, like I said in the beginning, guys, we systemized our stuff down to one service, one package, one offering. And it's $2,500 for 100 leads guaranteed. I got it from you to include the ad spend inside of it and just have like one flat rate on top, which I love. Also, I have like so many American Express points because you get 4 times the ad spend. It's not even funny. That's why I just travel the world. I never pay for anything. So like everything's packaged inside of it. So it's $2,500. It's 100 leads, and we offer boom, 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 like, Facebook ads, like a team, a call center, a website, blah, blah, blah. And I can, like I told you earlier, I can tell an agent exactly what I do in less than 30 seconds and then be like, oh, wow, that makes sense. And at that point, it's just adjusting to the price objections that they have. And I know people offer like a lot less, you know what I mean? They offer like $100 or $1,000. But for me, I'd rather have less clients and charge more money, and also only work with the real estate agents that are producing homes every single month and that have money to invest in that. Because I'll tell you what, guys, if you're making your shit cheap, I was reading a book the other day. It was like, if you can't be the cheapest person, then there's no reason why you should. There's no reason why you shouldn't be the most expensive. And so for us, it was like, if you're a real estate agent and you can barely afford a $300 a month deal, well, your leads aren't your issue. Like you're just probably a shitty real estate agent and you probably can't close deals. And so we wanted people that were already producing enough volume that they could easily sign a 6-month contract, $2,500, and then pay us that every single month guaranteed.
When I started charging more money, like now that I'm charging $5,000 a month, all of a sudden my clients leave me alone more often. All of a sudden they're following up and like they take it seriously. When I was charging $500 a month, it was like they felt like they needed to watch me to make sure I didn't F it up. Now that I'm charging 10 times as much, it's the same service, okay? But I charge them 10 times as much, and all of a sudden it's like the respect has flipped. Now they're doing what I tell them. And you get just better quality people. You get better quality people. Like when I work with entrepreneurs, the other reason I charge a lot for an hour of my time is because I'm like, I don't just want to talk to any Joe Schmo that I'm going to spend an hour of my time and you're not going to do anything about it. But like if you invest a good bit of money and you do a one-on-one with me, like there's a good chance that you're already doing a bunch of good shit and you want to do more and you're going to take action. Absolutely fantastic. We've got 3 people. There's like I can't find all the comments. There's too many. But either way, Ravi, it's been absolutely fantastic. We're bringing the sucker to a close. Is there any like last question, comments, concerns, thoughts, or ideas that you want to make sure somebody gets before we leave this interview?
I'll start by saying, Jeff Miller, you are a fucking god. I'm not trying to
appreciate
be like
it, dude.
A fangirl right now, but I legitimately, like I said, I only say things that I really mean. And you, Nick Robbins, and maybe 2 other guys in this agency online space, I have immense respect for. I don't know anybody that responds back to messages more, that is in his inner circle more, adding value, like weekly calls. I don't know anybody that does more of that. And where I started from where I am now, a lot of it is a credit to you and your inner circle. So I want to say, and thank you for having me on here, man.
I really appreciate it. Ravi's he's gonna take these 3 calls, but I'm pretty sure that we're gonna get so much demand. Ravi, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna ask that like you or your VA kind of like respond to some of the comments, because I've never seen like so many people saying, Ravi, please talk to me, right? Which is like great for you. But yeah, so that's it. Thanks so much. This has been about an hour or so. Everyone go kick some ass, take some names. Ravi, don't hang up. We're gonna debrief.
Okay.
That's it, everybody.